Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We're pleased to have in the studio with us today Hansol Hong. He is the CEO of Robolink. How you doing, Hansol?
Good. Can't be better.
Very, very good. What is Robolink? When did you start it? Why did you start it? And what is cool about it?
So at Robolink, we teach students STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. And what we do is we make these drones and robots as an education tool, and a lot of schools use them. There's about 4,000 schools using our product and using them to learn how to do programming, how drone works, how robots works, and so forth.
So are you in just the Southern California region? Are you around the country?
Our headquarters is here in San Diego, but our products get used around the nation.
Right.
And some in globally as well.
Is that right? Okay. And you started in 2012, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And were you the original CEO?
Yes. I'm
and the founder. And what got you into this? Obviously, you must have always been into robotics, probably as a kid yourself? Not necessarily?
Yes. I always enjoyed technology, and then I went to UC San Diego. And then going there, I wanted to learn more about engineering and business together. So I chose my major as management science, but apparently they were not teaching engineering as much as I was hoping. So we started an after-school program first. So it wasn't really meant to be this nationwide company, but we started teaching 10 students, 20 students, and then we ended up teaching total of 20,000 students, most of them being here in San Diego. And while we were doing it, we developed our robotics and drone kits. And then it became a thing that goes nationwide.
So drone is your latest product, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
But what was your first product, you remember?
Yeah, it's really,
ancient?
Yeah, it's rough robotics kits, can't believe we're using it with the kids. Sometimes it was smoking here and there's ancient robotics kits.
That is very, very, very funny. But, with it, and the question I have, having spent a lot of time in the education community myself, we're going to have you come and take a visit at the Linda Vista Innovation Center if you haven't been there already.
Oh, yeah, I've been.
You've been good. So you know the whole key and stuff. That you don't have to be a STEM expert kid to enjoy Robolink, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Talk about that.
So yeah, we target both for teachers and students. Usually students is easier one because, they
have no fear.
Exactly. They just go for it and then, what's this? And then they get into it. And then our product is easy enough for them to use it. I think the harder part is training teachers for us, because always the teachers are a little bit more careful. They want more instruction. So that's also a lot of the effort that we put it in, but both for teacher and student, they can be novice, and that's our expectation that they should be.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about what you folks do in the product, and you hear a lot about the STEM programs that are doing that. Listen, you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to be Albert Einstein, whatever the case may be, to figure this stuff out. And you're spot on. We all know this. We've known this for a long time. The kids they have no fear whatsoever. They're going to be playing around with it and so forth. We're afraid we're going to shoot something off to somebody. Oh my God, what have we done here? We've just taken down the building, whatever the case may be on this. As the technology changes, we just talked about what your product looked like in 2012 to what it looks like now, 2023. How tough is it to bob and weave and to change what the kit looks like? Talk about that.
where our product is like moving forward. Is that what you're asking?
Well, just from the start. I mean, I'm sure you had to adjust it all along as technology changes. Correct?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So initially, it started with more ground-based robots. It was a lot easier to deal with, and then we introduced this. Throughout the company, we've been introducing drones. We also introduced a tabletop self-driving car as well, teaching AI to students. So there has been a lot of different experiment and testing. And then the fact that we were actually running after-school program here, we could actually test this with the students here on site. And that was really helpful, what they find interesting. And basically, we've been going with the number one goal that this education should be interesting for kids, and then that'll be sparking their interest. And then it'll be, once it's fun, then they'll be actually learning more. So that's our thesis. And we've been following that and then trying to fit in this like educational components of programming and other things. So like students will be learning without that they're learning. That's our goal.
Yeah, that's always the key in education is that when they say this was fun and don't realize, of course, they've been learning all these techniques, whether it's math, science, language arts, social studies, they don't look at it that way because they look at it as fun and knows what. That's exactly what education should be anyway. We're chatting with Hansol Hong, who's the CEO of Robolink. I'm Drew Schlosberg, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, broadcasting at the Mission Fed Studios here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed been doing great things in the community for more than 60 years. So you guys are part of the largest drone competition in the K-12 space, right?
That's correct.
Talk about that competition.
Yeah, so this is pretty recent initiative. We've been part of the largest drone competition for K-12 space. There's about, last season, there were about 1,000 teams that participated.
Nationwide?
Nationwide, yes.
Okay, right. Uh-huh.
This year, we're anticipating probably doubling that. From 2,000 teams is very exciting. We'll be having, here in San Diego, we'll be having one at UC San Diego in March.
Is that like a preliminary round to get to the finals or its own competition?
Yeah, so its own competition as a qualifier,
right.
A regional competition, and then the ones who, some of the teams will be moved forward with the national championship as well.
Right. So what are the parameters? Can the drone only have to be a certain size? I mean, you don't want the drone the size of a 747, correct? Hopefully not.
Right. So our drones are very small. It's like size of your palm. Very small. And then students all of the students use same drone. So the skill gets differentiated by your setup, the pilot skills, as well as your programming skills. So are different missions that students can do, and then with the limited time, so students have to do those missions either by controlling the drone or programming the drone and then completing those missions.
Right. So let's say there's a team. Is it a 12? Is it a K-12 competition or is it a secondary?
Yeah, it's the youngest that you can participate is middle school.
Okay, so is there like a 6-8 competition, then a 9-12? Is that how they're breaking down that way? Or is there literally individually a 6th grade competition?
It's from 6th to 12th graders. And then right now, both middle school and high school students compete together.
Okay.
But in the future, once there are even more teams, then it'll be divided into middle school division and high school division.
Okay, so all 6 through 12 are in the same category.
That's correct, yes.
Right, so there's one winner in that area. And how many kids can be part of a team?
Usual size of the team that we've been seeing is like 3 to 5 students in a team.
Right, and then, so are they designing their drone beforehand, and then in the competition, okay, here's your instructions, you need to do X?
So there's like a couple different missions.
Yeah.
And students will be, for the programming portion, a lot of students will be doing prior to going there. So programming gets done prior to the event, but one of the mission is you have to actually collaborate with other teams on site. So students practice those, but actually at when you get to the competition, then there's dynamics with working with other teams. So you can practice a little bit, but
But you really can't.
Right.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, what does the winner get? Is it a cash award?
So the winners, so usually like depends on the size of the competition.
Yeah.
Usually from San Diego last year, there were 4 teams that got advanced to championships.
Okay.
So there's no like cash or anything, but you get trophy. And then
Sure.
one of the teams in San Diego actually ended up being national champion from, they go to Canyon Crest Academy, and team from there won national championship. So I think that's like another thing that they can brag on their college application.
Well,
yeah,
like it's important. We'll come back from break. We're going to chat more with Hansol Hong. He's the CEO of Robolink. Talk about one of the groups we work with quite a bit. There's a team called Cyber Aegis. They're out of Poway. And our good friend, Coach Paul Johnson, they won 11 national cyber competitions. Are you familiar with them?
I'm not, but there's a very strong robotics team in San Diego, so I'm not surprised.
Right, exactly. And so, they all deal with cyber and that aspect of which I imagine there's a lot of crossover between cyber and Robolink and so forth. We come back from break. We're going to chat more with Hansol about what we can do to support your efforts, some advice for some of the people out there. Talk about, certainly what you do is impact future job creation, and then love to talk about what you're doing in the community. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, around our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union here in the Mission Fed studios in the Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We are joined by Hansol Hong. He is the CEO of Robolink, talking about his company, been in business for 11 years, that ginning up kids in the robotics space. They impact and been involved with the largest drone competition in the K-12 space. You're expecting next year's competition at 2,000 teams, correct?
That's right.
That's a big number. Talk about how what you do has such a major impact on future job creation. Talk about that. So
one thing, like kind of directly, so there's a lot of CT program, career tech education, that's trying to push more of the job just out of high school too. So there's a lot of schools, especially like in like areas like Texas, Alabama, and in those states, they're trying to create more jobs with the drone pilots. You can actually, out of high school, you can get a pilot license, and then the national average was about 80,000 or so.
Wow.
By being a drone pilot. So there's like some of the initiatives.
And that's right out of high school or right out of college?
Right out of high school with the drone pilot license. So there's like some of the push that's happening with there, but indirectly too, because like technology is such a huge integration of our life. So, even if you don't want to be an engineer, I think having exposed to this like technical education is helpful. And any job that you use will be using technology. So we're trying to expose this like education for students in fun way. So hoping that we can impact more job creations.
Well, you hit something as a common theme on our Spotlight in the Community show, Hansol, and that is, and we're big fans of elevating those people in the space of college and career pathways and so forth, and which is finally getting its attention these days, and have probably for the last 5-10 years. But literally, it's all about finding what those kids are interested in. Heaven forbid we ask them what they're interested in, and then let them go ahead and try that pathway, whether it's robotics or whether it's other types of careers they're looking at. And you hit the nail on the head on this. Now, listen, the skill sets they learn when they're building these drones or using robotics can transfer beautifully into 75 other types of activities. But talk about how important it is when they enter these competitions that they learn how to collaborate and work as a team. Talk about how important that is.
Yeah, drone and robots are just like flashy thing that lures students in. But
the shiny thing, right? Mm-hmm.
For sure. But there's a lot of teamwork effort that gets in. Like students many of the teams has to do like fundraiser, for example, and then they have to put their elaborate thoughts into like why they need that and then what their goals are. A lot of students have to do engineering notebook, which essentially is a journal that documents everything of how your team is doing. So it becomes critical skill sets that they need to learn for any jobs that they need to do. So all these skill sets are some of the hidden benefits of students learning by joining the drone and robotics team.
So if someone wants to be in the competition, and this is something that I was always really loved about the Mayor's Cyber Cup and Cyber Patriot and working with our good friend Paul Johnson, the Cyber Aegis team out of Poway, while most of them are affiliated with the school, you don't have to be. We're in the cyber competition. You can be the neighborhood kids. Now, in all likelihood, the neighborhood kids are going to the neighborhood school, but in some cases, they're not. So on this drone competition, do you have to be affiliated with a specific school?
You don't need to. There's a couple of the barriers that are not really applicable for our drone competition. So you don't have to be part of the school. It could be any organization, or it doesn't have to be organization.
So it could be a Boys and Girls Club competition. It could be a YMCA.
Exactly.
It could be kids that are homeschooled or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
We had a Girl Scout group that was coming from San Bruno for San Diego competition last year.
How'd they do?
I think they did pretty well. Yeah. But yeah, San Diego team did a little bit better. But so one of the team was from PQ, Penasquitos area, and then they were just neighborhood friends. So you don't have to be that. Also, one of the benefits is like a lot of the robotics competition, it could be very pricey, but our drones, $215. So
wow,
very affordable compared to some other robotics competition. So it's easier to join. So there's some benefits.
So with all these teams that have drones, right? And someone's got to own that drone, correct? Or someone has to walk away with it, right?
Right.
I remember we used to do a military show, which we're going to gin up again, called San Diego Mission San Diego Military. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys we had on was sort of a leader in unmanned air stuff, UASs and certainly a lot of things they're using in the military now, as we know, are unmanned. They're drones basically being used off of ships and all that business. But when he was talking about this, great guy, former colonel I think he was in the Marines. I could be wrong on that. He's going to kill me for that. I can't remember that. But it was new when they were doing sort of the competitions to see which state was going to get some of these unmanned air systems going. California sort of slept a little bit on it and lost a big bid to somebody else. But his point was getting the FAA involved. And you may already know this. And the FAA was a little bit late to the game, and you're supposed to come up with rules. So we don't have the, like the Jetsons back in the day. I'm dating myself. You're a lot younger than I am, that you aren't going to be crashing into each other. With the proliferation of drones all over the place, there's some pretty specific rules of where you can fly these and where you can't. Obviously, if you start flying this stuff over Miramar, that won't go too well with the Marines and that aspect of it. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so our drone is like too small and lightweighted, so there's no restriction around. It's almost considered, like with the size and weight, it's almost considered as a toy drone. So the regulation, I believe, is if it's under 250 gram, then or a certain size, 12 inch by 12 inch, or something like that. So ours, both for size and weight, and our drone is indoor only drone. As well. So there's the restrictions, the FAA regulation doesn't apply to our drones.
Right. So, but now with your drones, is the next step for these kids that want to build bigger drones? Of course, you're not in control of them after the competition. They can do whatever they want afterwards. Do you see them getting more into the drone space from what you understand?
There are definitely students who get like further into and then building more advanced drones, yes. But also, as I mentioned, a lot of students just like learn programming. And like if you learn programming, you can do anything these days. Right. So there's a lot of different pathways that students can go for next steps.
Right. So if our listeners listening to this say, well, I want to get my kid involved in this, how do they get a hold of you?
So you can probably see information on robolink.com, so robolink.com. Right. And you can type aerial drone competition. That's the name of the competition too. So you can look that up as well.
Right. And you said you're familiar with the Linda Vista Innovation Center, correct?
Yes.
You've worked with Al Love over there?
Al, and then
is Margie there, and Alicia, and Brent there. Is Brent there? Yeah, I think he is. Anyway, Classroom of the Future Foundation on the leadership team is housed there.
Right. I've met
Jane,
a few of them, yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Now, you've been involved in any of the Classroom of the Future Foundation events at all?
Yeah, we've been supporting some of their events, and then we've been participating in some of their events.
Okay.
There's 16 weeks of national... I'm not forgetting the exact name, but I've been part of that coordination meeting to National STEAM Week.
Yeah, okay. And I'm going to put a shameless plug in for CFF since I'm on the leadership team, and hopefully you got an invitation to it. If not, if you're around on October 26th, we're going to be doing our Soup Tank 3.0 at the University of San Diego, and it's based on Shark Tank. And we have superintendents make a pitch to business leaders. Have you gone to the one in the...
I gone to the last one at the National University one, yes.
Okay, well, all right, very, very good. So if you're available on the 26th, you should come and see this if you're around.
Awesome,
we'll send you an invitation. What else can we do to support your efforts, Hansol?
I think something big in San Diego, as you know, is military.
Sure it is.
And we've been actually working with a lot of the JROTC units. So it's a junior ROTC.
Right.
So there's like about 350 teams around the nation or that participated last year, and then that number is growing. But we're trying to have more of the San Diego participation. So like a lot of these championships or the competitions are happening more in East Coast and Southern, but not as much on San Diego in our home ground. So we're trying to have more teams get involved. So if there's any military folks that has JROTC, or if there are schools who's involved with the STEM initiative, then we would love to chat so that we can have more teams participating here in San Diego. And I believe there may be another events happening from NJROTC, Navy JROTC in Coronado. So hopefully we can grow this bigger here in our hometown as well.
Right, and just go to the Robolink website if they can support your efforts.
Yes.
Well, listen, why don't we do this? We'd love to have you back on sooner than later. And if you could bring on some of the winning students that have participated in the past, they can talk about their experiences and what they're doing. Give some thought to that if that's something you'd like to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think they love to do that too.
Anytime we have students on talking about what they've done and how they've been engaged in something is a good thing. Hansol, thank you so much for coming on. We'll look forward to having you make a return appearance.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community, a show on the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Mission Fed been doing phenomenal things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.